Welcome to Divine Reveal. What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, there's a countdown happening in heaven's courtroom, and your name is being called? What if the betrayal that nearly destroyed you, the rejection that left you bleeding, the abandonment that made you question God's love? What if all of it was actually heaven's way of separating you from everyone who wasn't strong enough to walk where you're going? And what if, listen close, what if tonight, before the clock strikes midnight, there's a spiritual gate that's about to close, and on the other side is everything you've been fighting for? See, most people think God's timing moves slow. But I'm here to tell you something that's going to shake you. When heaven decides it's time for a champion to rise, the countdown moves fast. There's a ticking in the spirit realm right now. Can you feel it? That restlessness in your chest, that stirring you can't explain. That sense that something massive is about to shift. If your spirit's already stirring, type champion in the comments so I know you're still awake for what heaven is about to drop on you. See, what I'm about to share with you tonight, this isn't for everyone. This message has a specific address. It's stamped with the DNA of warriors who've walked through hell and came out carrying fire instead of ashes. Right now, I'm talking right now, your name is being whispered in the courts of heaven. Not because you're perfect, because you're prepared. The midnight hour isn't coming to end something. It's coming to begin everything you were forged to become. This is your last warning before a spiritual gate closes. And I need to tell you, not everyone's gonna make it through. Some people will sleep through their breakthrough. Some will doubt their way out of their deliverance. But champions stay awake when heaven's moving. Before we go deeper, thank you to every single one of you who has supported this message through Super Thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here, your support, your time, your attention. It all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead. But understand this, what happens in the next 60 minutes isn't just another sermon. This is an invitation into heaven's war room. This is intelligence from the throne room about a midnight move that's about to change everything. The clock is ticking. Your breakthrough has an expiration date. And champions don't sleep through their season. Stay with me. Heaven's about to speak. Do you hear that sound? That's the sound of heaven drawing a line in the sand tonight. And I need to ask you something that's gonna cut deep. What if everyone who hurt you, everyone who betrayed you, everyone who walked away when you needed them most, what if they were never meant to cross this line with you? What if God allowed every single person to show their true colors, so you'd stop trying to drag dead weight into your destiny? Listen to me, champion. The line is being drawn in the spirit right now. Not everyone will cross before midnight. And that's not tragedy, that's strategy. The enemy has been running the same playbook against every chosen one since the beginning of time. Distractions to pull your focus, betrayals to break your trust, false accusations to make you question who you really are. Sound familiar? That's because you've been in a war you didn't even know you were fighting. But here's what the devil didn't count on. Every attack was actually building your armor. Every lie spoken against you was actually sharpening your discernment. Every person who walked away was actually clearing your path. If you've survived the worst years of your life, and you're still here, still believing, still hoping, this message has your name written all over it. Because survivors don't just endure. Survivors become champions. Right now, you're standing on the edge of a spiritual battlefield. Your armor is still smoking from the last war. Your sword is still stained with the blood of battles nobody else saw you fight. But guess what? That wasn't your defeat. That was your training. Midnight isn't just another hour on the clock. Midnight is heaven's divine seal that locks your next chapter. And once it's sealed, champion, there's no going back to who you used to be. Here's what I'm about to promise you, and I want you to write this down. If you stay with me until the very end of this message, within 72 hours, I'm talking 3 days from right now, heaven is going to give you a prophetic sign, a confirmation so clear, so undeniable, that you'll know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this word was meant for you. The question isn't whether you're chosen. The question is whether you're ready to step across the line that separates survivors from champions. Because what I'm about to show you next is going to explain why every tear you've cried, every prayer you've whispered in the dark, every moment you thought God had forgotten your name, it was all preparing you for this midnight hour. I see you there, behind that screen, behind that brave face you've been wearing for months, maybe years. You think nobody knows, but I know. I know about the phone that stopped ringing when you needed it most. I know about the family gathering where they talked around you like you weren't even there. I know about that friend who disappeared the moment your life got messy. I know about the spouse who walked out when the bills got high and your faith got tested. You've been carrying weight that would crush most people. Betrayal so deep it rewired how you trust. Abandonment so brutal it made you question if you're even worth loving. Rejection so cold it froze parts of your heart you thought would never thaw again. And the cruelest part, it happened when you were already down, when you were already fighting battles nobody could see. They kicked you when you were bleeding. They turned their backs when you were drowning. They gossiped about your pain like it was entertainment. But here's what they didn't know. Here's what you didn't know. Every tear that hit your pillow at 3 a.m., God caught it. Every scream into the darkness when you thought you couldn't take another day, heaven heard it. Every moment you sat alone, wondering if you mattered to anybody, the creator of the universe was sitting right there with you. Psalm 56:8 says, God puts our tears in his bottle, not some of them, all of them. Every single drop of anguish you've cried has been collected in heaven's treasury. Your pain has been documented. But here's where it gets supernatural. That fire you walked through, that wasn't hell trying to destroy you. That was heaven's forge, heating up the steel of your soul. Every betrayal was another strike of the hammer. Every rejection was another degree of heat. Every abandonment was another layer of impurities being burned away. You thought you were being punished, but champions aren't made in comfort zones. Champions are forged in fire. And that fire, it wasn't meant to consume you, it was meant to crown you. Look at Job, lost everything. Even his wife told him to curse God and die, but God wasn't through with him. The fire was preparation for double restoration. Look at David, anointed as king, but spent years running for his life in caves. The wilderness wasn't his punishment. It was his preparation. Your scars aren't wounds anymore. They're armor. Your pain isn't your past. It's your qualification. Every injustice you've survived has given you authority in the spirit realm that your enemies will never understand. If you know you've been through a season that tried to kill you but you're still here, I want you to declare in the comments, I'm still standing. Because champion, your breakthrough isn't coming in spite of what you've been through. Your breakthrough is coming because of what you've been through. That midnight gate I told you about, it doesn't open for the comfortable. It opens for the forged. And you've been in the fire long enough. But something's about to shift before that clock strikes 12. Now listen. What I'm about to reveal is going to shift everything you thought you knew about God's timing in your life. See, in heaven's calendar, there aren't just days and months like we count down here. There are what I call champion days moments, when the spiritual atmosphere shifts so dramatically that destinies get rewritten in a single breath. You've felt them before, haven't you? Those days when something inside you just changed. When you walked into your house, the same person but woke up different. When pain that had lived in your chest for years suddenly lifted like fog in the morning sun. The enemy doesn't want you to recognize these moments, because once you understand heaven's timing, you become dangerous to his plans. Here's what's shaking me to my core right now. The number 8. Not just any 8, but the spiritual mathematics of infinity, renewal, and supernatural power. When heaven wants to mark a champion, it speaks in sequences. 8, 8, 8. The infinity loop engraved in God's blueprint for your life. Think about this. Jesus rose on the 8th day, the first day of a new week, a new creation. 8 people were saved in Noah's Ark. Abraham was circumcised when Isaac was 8 days old, marking a new covenant. But here's where it gets personal for you. Every major breakthrough in your life has happened in patterns of divine alignment. That job that saved your family, that healing that doctors couldn't explain, that relationship that pulled you back from the edge, none of it was random. Right now, as I'm speaking these words, there's a vault door in the spirit realm slowly unlocking. Can you sense it? That pressure in your chest isn't anxiety, it's anticipation. Heaven is preparing to release something that's been locked away, waiting for this exact moment when you're finally ready to carry it. The frequency you're operating on right now, this restlessness, this hunger, this holy dissatisfaction with where you are, that's not depression, champion. That's destination calling. But here's what's going to determine everything. Before midnight strikes tonight, you're going to have to make a decision that will either lock this door forever or swing it wide open for the greatest chapter of your life. The question isn't whether God is moving. The question is whether you're ready to move with him when the vault door opens. Because what's waiting on the other side will require a level of courage you've never had to walk in before. You know what they don't tell you about being chosen? They don't tell you that the moment heaven marks you, hell takes notice too. Listen to me carefully. Every single attack you've endured wasn't random. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was coordinated warfare against the champion God was raising up inside you. Wolves don't hunt the weak, beloved. They hunt the strongest. They circle the lion, not the lamb. And if you've been hunted relentlessly, if betrayal has stalked you like a shadow, if rejection has been your constant companion, congratulations. You just discovered you're not prey, you're the prize. The enemy has been studying you, watching you, learning your triggers, your breaking points, your deepest wounds. Because he knows something you're just now remembering. There's a throne waiting for you that he can never sit on. There's an authority rising in you that threatens his entire kingdom. That's why your family turned on you when you started changing. That's why friends disappeared when you began growing. That's why doors slammed when you started praying differently. The enemy wasn't trying to destroy you randomly. He was trying to abort your awakening. But here's what the devil didn't calculate, and this is straight from Romans 8:28. All things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. Every trap he set became your training ground. Every rejection redirected you toward your real destiny. You thought that job loss was failure. It was extraction from a place too small for where you're headed. You thought that relationship ending was abandonment. It was God removing everyone who couldn't handle your elevation. You thought that isolation was punishment. It was preparation for the weight of the crown you're about to carry. The enemy has been setting traps, completely unaware he was standing on a spiritual earthquake. Every scheme he plotted was actually positioning you for promotion. Every attack was actually adding layers to your armor. Every wound was actually carving out more capacity for the anointing you're about to receive. Right now, as this midnight hour approaches, I can hear it in the spirit chains snapping. The same chains that held you down, held you back, held you bound, they're breaking off. That sound you hear isn't destruction, that's deliverance. Psalm 23:5 says, God prepares a table before you in the presence of your enemies. You know what that means? Your breakthrough is going to happen where your betrayers can watch. Your promotion is coming where your persecutors can see. Your vindication will unfold in full view of everyone who counted you out. The battlefield has been within you all along, and the war isn't over who you were, it's over who you're becoming. But the midnight hour doesn't just signal the end of your warfare, it signals the beginning of your reign. The question isn't whether you'll survive the battle anymore. The question is, are you ready to step into the victory that's already been won? You know what's been eating at you all these years? That question that whispers in the dark when everyone else is asleep. God, if I'm really chosen, why did you let me go through hell for so long? Tonight, I'm going to give you an answer that's going to change everything you thought you knew about your pain. See, there's something most believers don't understand about how heaven operates. When God has a champion, a real champion, He doesn't send them into battle the moment they say yes. He waits. And that waiting, it looks like abandonment. It feels like punishment. But it's actually the most strategic move in the universe. Listen to me carefully. In 1 Samuel 16, David was anointed king at maybe 15 years old, but he didn't sit on the throne until he was 30. 15 years between the anointing and the coronation. 15 years of caves, running, betrayal, and wondering if God forgot His promise. But here's what David didn't know, and what you need to understand tonight. Every single day in those caves was forging the king that Israel desperately needed. You think God was slow? God was strategic. The same God who could part the Red Sea in seconds took 40 years to get the slave mentality out of His people before they could possess their promise. Why? Because champions aren't born, they're forged. And forging takes heat, it takes pressure, it takes time. Your silence wasn't God ignoring you. It was God protecting what He was building in you. Because when heaven releases a champion, they don't send them out half-baked. They send them out bulletproof. You want to know why the attacks were so vicious, why the betrayals cut so deep, why the loneliness felt like it would swallow you whole? Because the enemy knew something you're just now figuring out. The deeper the wound, the heavier the crown you're destined to wear. Every tear you cried in secret was oil being poured on your head. Every rejection was another layer of authority being deposited in your spirit. Every time you wanted to quit but didn't, that was heaven saying, "Not yet, they're not ready yet. But soon." Think about this. Why would a general hold back his strongest warrior until the final hour of battle? Because that warrior isn't just meant to fight, they're meant to end the war. They're not coming to participate, they're coming to dominate. And you? You've been held back because what's coming next isn't just another season, it's the season. The season where everything the enemy stole gets returned with interest, where every door that was slammed gets blown off its hinges, where every person who counted you out has to watch you step into everything they said you'd never have. But here's what's got heaven on edge tonight, and why this message couldn't wait until tomorrow. There's a window, a spiritual window, and like every window, it has an expiration time. Isaiah 60:1 says, "Arise, shine, for your light has come." Not your light is coming, your light has come. Present tense. It's here, it's now. The final coat of oil is being poured. The sword is being placed in your hand. The crown that was forged in your pain is about to be placed on your head. But champions have to choose to walk through the door when it opens. And that door, it's about to open, but not for long. The question that's going to determine everything about your next chapter is this. When heaven calls your name at midnight, will you be ready to answer? Listen to me, champion. We've walked through fire together for the last 40 minutes. You've felt the stirring, you've sensed the shift, you've recognized the countdown. But right now, heaven is waiting for your response. The midnight bell isn't just marking time. It's heaven's gavel about to strike in your favor. But there's something you must do before that bell rings. Something that will seal the spiritual contract between you and your breakthrough. First, and this is gonna cut deep, you need to forgive someone you've been holding in your heart. I'm talking about that person whose name just flashed in your mind. The one who betrayed you when you needed them most. The family member who turned their back. The friend who spread lies about your character. You think holding on to that hurt protects you. It doesn't. It's a chain around your destiny. Matthew 6:14 says, "If you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you." But here's what most people miss. Forgiveness isn't for them. It's for you. It's the key that unlocks your prison. Right now, I want you to speak their name in your heart and say, "I release you. I forgive you. I break every chain between us." Do it now. Don't wait until you feel like it. Champions act when heaven commands. Second, you need to speak life over your future out loud. Not in your head, out loud. Your voice has creative power. Proverbs 18:21 tells us, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." Right where you're sitting, I want you to declare, "My breakthrough is coming. My season of favor is here. What was stolen is being restored sevenfold." Say it like you believe it. Say it like heaven is recording every word, because it is. Third, make your declaration in the comments as a public act of faith. Type these exact words: "I am heaven's champion, and my midnight breakthrough starts now." This isn't just typing. This is you making a covenant with destiny itself. Here's what's about to happen. Within 72 hours, mark this down, you're going to receive a prophetic sign that confirms your obedience tonight. It might be a phone call you've been waiting for, a door that suddenly opens, a check in the mail, a healing in your body, a shift in your family dynamics. But for someone watching right now, someone whose spirit is on fire as I speak, you're about to receive an instant release. That anxiety that's been choking you, it's breaking. That depression that's been haunting you, it's lifting. That physical pain you've carried for years, heaven's about to touch it. The clock is at 11:59. The gate is closing. Your breakthrough has a deadline, and that deadline is now. Will you sleep through your season, or will you rise like the champion you were born to be? Champion, as this midnight hour passes, I need you to see what heaven sees when it looks at you walking out of this message. You're not walking out the same person who walked in. The invisible crown that was always yours, it's becoming visible in the spirit realm right now. Every angel in heaven is watching you step into the authority you were born to carry. Listen to me carefully from this moment forward. Doors are going to open without you knocking, not because you forced them, but because heaven's favor is preceding you into every room. Ephesians 2:6 says you're seated with Christ in heavenly places, past tense, already done. You've been carrying yourself like you're still begging for a seat at the table, but champion, you own the table. Here's what's about to shift in your reality. Respect is going to follow you without you having to demand it. People who couldn't see your value yesterday are going to sense something different about your presence tomorrow. Why? Because you're no longer carrying yourself like someone who's been broken. You're walking like someone who's been rebuilt by the Master's hands. That peace you've been striving for, fighting for, crying for, it's about to flow like a river. Isaiah 48:18 says, "Oh, that you had hearkened to my commandments, then had your peace been as a river." River peace doesn't beg. River peace doesn't negotiate. River peace just flows. Champion, before you close this video, Let me remind you of 3 truths that heaven wants carved into your heart tonight. First, every betrayal, every rejection, every midnight hour of weeping was not punishment, it was preparation. You weren't being destroyed, you were being forged. Second, the silence you felt wasn't God abandoning you, it was God positioning you. Sometimes heaven moves quietly because the enemy can't interfere with what it can't hear coming. Third, you are not walking this path alone. There's a community of warriors right here who understand your struggle, who've walked through their own fire, and who are ready to stand with you in prayer. But here's the question I need you to sit with. Now that you know you're heaven's champion, how will you walk differently tomorrow? Let me pray over you like you're my own family, because in God's kingdom you are. Father, I lift up every champion watching this message. Lord, you see the tears they've cried in secret, the battles they've fought alone, the dreams they thought were dead. Tonight, breathe life back into those dreams. Open doors that no man can shut. Heal hearts that have been shattered by betrayal. Restore what was stolen in the darkness. God, place your hand of favor upon them. Let them feel your presence in a way they haven't felt in years. Give them supernatural peace that passes understanding. And Lord, let them walk out of this midnight hour knowing they are loved, chosen, and destined for victory. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen. Champion, if this message touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to remember they're not forgotten. Drop a comment below and tell me what God is speaking to your spirit. I read every single one, and our community is here to pray with you. Thank you for staying with me through this entire journey. Thank you for trusting me with your heart. Thank you for being the champion God always knew you were. Until next time, walk like you know who you are, because champion you do.